years ago, when Chief Willie Obiano took the oath of office as the governor of Anambra State, there were shouts of joy and loud jubilation across the land. The people had anchored their hopes and optimism on Obiano's solid corporate background and his impeccable track record as a result-driven corporate player. 5 years after, Governor Obiano has fully justified the people's confidence with a sterling performance. This is an objective account of Obiano's 5 years in office. An assessment of Governor Willie Obiano's achievements in Anambra State requires a reflection on his beliefs on good governance, as can be seen in the improved life of Ndi Anambra and the ranking position of the state among other states across Nigeria over the past 5 years.
I always say that part of what His Excellency did was to give Anambra people, the Anambra, a new self-belief. Sometimes when I look back, I say that Governor Obiano was like Margaret Thatcher, who restored that confidence to Great Britain. And she said, I want to put Great back in Britain. So he not only was dealing with the hard policies and the rest of them, but was also doing things to begin to rebrand the state. The state anthem was part of rebranding the state, the logo and the rest of them. So giving a people, a very proud people, back their pride.
First, we must remember Governor Obiano's vision and mission statements of making Anambra State the first choice investment destination and most preferred location to site new industries, and to create a socially stable, business-friendly environment that will attract both indigenes and foreigners to seek wealth creation opportunities in Anambra State. We may also remember that Obiano's mission and vision statements are a part of his economic blueprint, otherwise known as the Anambra Wheel of Development. The wheel rotates around what is called the 4 pillars, which include agriculture, industrialization, trade and commerce, and oil and gas. The 4 pillars are supported by the economic enablers, which include security, education, health, power, electricity, environment, social and civil infrastructure, finance, housing and urban development, hospitality and tourism, transportation, water and sanitation, youth and sports, and women development.
Reading through the vision and the mission, it's clear to me that he did not suffer the illusion that government would do everything. And therefore, that those 2 statements was, on one hand, we want to create a vibrant private sector that would drive the bulk of the economic activities, while the public sector, the government sector itself, would create the enabling environment that enables the private sector to thrive.
But what appears to have stood the Obiano administration out through the years is his resolve to run the state through institutions. This led to the establishment of agencies such as the Awka Capital Development Authority, ACDA, the Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency, ANSIPA, the Anambra Small Business Agency, ASBA, Anambra Transport Management Agency, ATMA, Operation Clean and Healthy Anambra Ocha Brigade, Operation Pochapo Joint Task Force on Security, and other special interventionist creations like the Anambra State Sports Development Commission, tailored towards addressing the growing need to restructure and grow critical sectors that directly affect the large army of otherwise vulnerable youths and ensure a productive engagement for them.
We are going all the way to develop sports in Anambra aspect. And for the records, we started with developing certain products that we make sports, all encompassing. For the Work for Life, which has come to stay, which is like a brand. In other states or in other parts of the world, what is about marathon. But we created this one. We call it Work for Life. We've done about the 5th edition. right now we have football season in Anambra State, which runs from November to May every year. By May 27th this year, we are going to play the finals. We don't know who will emerge as the finalists, but it is ongoing right now. And by the way, the governor procured over 2,000 branded footballs, and it was distributed all over the state, from the primary schools to the secondary schools to the communities to the market, security agencies, and the universities. So we have 6 corps, and they were all giving footballs to start their own games. If you engage, youth in sports, like what we're doing, it will definitely reduce crime rate, because they are occupied. They do a lot of it. By the evening, they go out to play football or they do other sports. When you bring them together and they start, interacting with guidance from, their mentors and their coaches, you see that it's always possible for you to know where they are, because you're always in touch with them. So it's a major way of reducing crime, just like the Street Light project.
All the policy thrusts and acts of the Obiano administration have led to increased profitable economic engagements for increasing number of Anambra, as well as a vibrant state economy in a stable geopolitical space. This agrees with the governor's determination to fight crime by creating jobs and alleviating excruciating pains of the masses.
We key in very, very seriously to His Excellency's blueprint in terms of the pillars that we believe will drive Anambra economy, which includes agriculture, trade and commerce, logistics, the creative industry. All this is tied into an economic blueprint, and we essentially expedite and facilitate this for the state and for its investors.
Governor Willie Obiano's unprecedented achievements in the agri sector have placed Anambra State in the forefront of notable states helping the country to attain food sufficiency.
He has developed agricultural blueprints in Anambra State. He put together solid agronomists, professors, and good team of agronomists to look around the state and come up with structured process strategy that will drive agriculture in Anambra State. So ideally what we're doing is utilizing what we have, increasing the capacity of our farmers, and bringing the best practice to develop, whilst we are gradually increasing the land utilization as the fundings are available. That's why we could jump from 80 metric tons of rice in 2014 to 345 by 2017. And by our target for 2018, we were looking to achieve 2 million metric tons. So you could see our projections are all based on one, being very creative, developing agriculture strategically and organically to make sure that we drive what His Excellency has given us as a mandate.
Little wonder, Anambra rice, Anambra yam, Ogo Anambra, Anambra bitter leaves, Anambra scent leaves, etc. are commanding brands across Nigeria and beyond. Indeed, organic vegetables originating from Anambra State are in high demand in some parts of Europe, where the farmers, assisted by agencies of the state government, have established a flourishing market.
December 2017 to June 2018, we've done 4 shipments of yam export to Europe. And those were 60 metric ton each shipment. And now we have also taken a leap to now develop a lot of ag growers that will now produce the species of yam that will be able to export outside of Anambra. And that's primarily the platform that His Excellency has set up. We have an export desk in the Ministry of Agriculture where all the agri-export activities are dealt with. His Excellency has also approved, and we just set up a center that we call the Tuber Conditioning Center. That's where we'll be conditioning yam and all the tubers, potatoes for export outside of Anambra State. Likewise, the vegetables are also being produced and exported. In here, we have proper off-takers who leverage on what we do via backward integration to pick up the produces as they're being produced. His Excellency also invested in trucks We have 3 trucks here, fully air-conditioned trucks, to help our farmers and our exporters to pick up all the produces for export.
In trade and commerce, the Anambra State government under Obiano has successfully partnered with shoemaking entrepreneurs to build a functional shoe manufacturing market in Nkwele Zunaka. Shoes made in this market are sold across West Africa and beyond.
Myself, I specialize on working with the people that come from North, Kano. Some people that came from Sokoto, some came from Mubi. So on the northern side, that's where my own product. We have different variety of production here. So it's go on categories. Like this, my own production. This one now. So my customers basically come from North, Kano, Sokoto, Mubi, and all part of North. They normally come every Wednesdays, once in a week. They come normally once in a week.
The governor achieved this enviable feat through various relevant institutions of government that identify, locate, monitor, and facilitate attractive funding of economic activities in the state. The Anambra State Small Business Agency, ASBA, has been largely instrumental to this development, providing funding and nurturing small businesses in the state to maturity.
ASBA developed this international industrial cluster where shoes are being manufactured, with over 1,000 shops for shoemaking. That area is not only for shoemaking, there are general goods. It's been opened and a lot of activities are happening there. The Anambra are being trained because all the shoemakers there, we told them they must be able to, each shop, you must be able to develop like 3 or 4 people per annum. With all the facilities on ground, with all the equipment provided for them, this is the beginning of what I call a revolution, economic revolution of Anambra State.
Since physical development easily qualifies as one of the critical factors in measuring a government's achievement, Chief Obiano's consciousness for legacy projects identifiable in the well-appointed triple flyovers in Awka, the over 15 completed bridges, including the longest bridge ever built by any state government in the southeast of the Niger, in addition to other critical bridges and roads opening up access to far-flung corners of Anambra State with large expanse of arable land for unlimited agriculture and industrial activities.
We don't just do road because we want to do roads. We assess the road, assess where the road is going to, and how is it going to benefit the people of Anambra. And one thing Anambra people, especially the Anambra North people, are known for is agriculture. So we are opening up the hinterland, the farmlands, like Anambra West. We are doing the Mmiata Nzam Road. We are doing the Mmiata Iyora Road. We are doing Aglero 2 Road. We are doing Onono Road. We are doing Umwezanam internal roads. We are doing a road in Ifitogwa in Ayamelm that goes to the waterfront. We are doing Omasoago Road in Ayamelm. We are doing Mumbo Road. We are doing Umerum Road. These are roads that go to our farmlands. He had done a bridge from Umweje, from Ayamelm to Anambra East, from Umweje to Aguleri. That bridge is completed. He had done the one in, he's doing the one in Nzam. The Yora bridge is completed. The popular Nengo bridge that eases traffic from the bus section of Federal Road at Omonia Amobia Road. That bridge is completed. The one that goes from Sas or Kuzu to Nando, there's a bridge, is completed. So he's doing what a lot. If you go now from Aguleri Junction to Anako, which is a federal road, we are rehabilitating the road. This second tenor, we are awarded 162 roads, and jobs are ongoing. So His Excellency, want to thank God for him because he's doing much with the little he's getting. Anambra State, as you all know, is not an oil producing state, but he's paying salaries, he's paying pension. This light that we see every day is on generator, it's powering them. Their security, security is very expensive, it's ongoing. And he's still doing these roads.
Nteje are very proud of you. This is a grateful community of Nteje that you've opened up our community for the first time in the history of this town. You've given us a wonderful road, a bridge. You are building a road from Nteje to Nando. You are building one from Nteje to Nsugbe. We feel very proud. We thank you so much for all you do for us. Nteje is a link now to many communities so that agricultural products will be evacuated, and it's done because Willie Obiano is really working. We appreciate you. We'll continue to show you favor and pray for you to live long.
This government has completed and commissioned many of the roads and other projects it inherited from the previous administration. The Agulu Lake Hotels project, now Golden Tulip Hotels, and the Onitsha Shopping Mall are representational of such projects. The government is equally constructing an imposing multi-purpose international conference center in the capital city of Awka. Of great relevance too is the governor's innovative yearly 20 million naira community Choose Your Project initiative, which is in its third year of operation. By this singular policy, all the 177 communities in Anambra State, in addition to 3 distinct metropolitan settings, receive the sum of 20 million naira for any project of their choice annually. This novel concept has attracted other state governments who seek Anambra State's template for the scheme. Worthy of note is the influx of investments into the state, more from the large number of successful entrepreneurs indigenous to Anambra State who, following the prevailing security that Obiano'S government has provided, decided to respond to the government's Akuluono advocacy by setting up new businesses in their home state.
It's quite interesting, you would think that the majority of investors would be of local origin, and that to an extent. There are quite a few, but well over 50% of our investors are non-Nigerians, which shows you a lot of people think that investment stops in sort of the capital, the commercial capital Lagos or the federal capital Abuja, but we're able to draw down investment. As I said, over 50% of our investors are non-indigenous. We do continue to push indigenous. There's a cultural proximity, so they believe already in the story. However, we tend to try and diversify our investor base and also our investment base in terms of sectorally. We're not skewed to any particular one. We have oil and gas investments, we have real estate investments, we have a lot of agricultural investments. In fact, we are now in certain crops becoming very self-sufficient in terms of domestic production and versus consumption. So there's a lot that's going into play to deliver on the mandate of the pillars of government in terms of sustainability.
Again, of note is the ongoing Operation Light Up Anambra campaign, which targets installation of street lights across the length and breadth of the state. So far, the benefits from the distance covered justify the efforts. The Anambra now enjoy longer business hours without the fear that darkness compels. This means a longer period of unhindered economic activity and an increase in disposable income for entrepreneurs.
We've done the first phase and second phase of street lighting. When you come to Anambra State, which you call the light of the nation, you could see that really is the light of the nation. The 3 prominent towers on the flyovers are there. The street lighting is almost all in all the local governments. We've done the first 100 kilometers, second 100 kilometers of street lighting, and we're in the 3rd phase of that now. And we are moving to complete all the strategic areas in all the local governments. Then virtually all the major roads are already lit.
Anambra State has maintained its position as the reference point of excellence in the education sector. This is due to the sustained outstanding performance of Anambra students, teachers, and schools in external examinations and competitions. Under Obiano'S watch, many schools in Anambra State have successfully participated in academic contexts across the globe. The most memorable is the success story of the 5 girls from Regina Pachi Girls Secondary School, Onitsha, who conquered the world by winning a gold medal in the Silicon Valley Technovation competition that held in the United States of America in 2018. These achievements were made possible by the sustained investment in education.
We started to change the psyche of our children. True, Anambra State has always been on the top, Even before we came in, we were doing well. There's no doubt about that. But then how do we maintain that and ensure that we have students who are able to defend their certificates at all times? We developed what we call the 10 shared values to make a positive impact on everyone I meet and everywhere I go, to be a solution provider and not a part of the problem to be solved, to be a role model of emulation, to be my best in all I do, and so on and so forth. And the last one, number 10, that says to make my family, my state, my nation, and my God proud. And it began to change how our children, we are thinking. We started with some dictums. We said, Nothing is impossible. Yes, we can. So His Excellency said, I want to give them education that is globally competitive. I remember what His Excellency told them when we brought them to him before they left. He told them that these Oyibo people do not have two heads. Go there and beat them. And they went and beat them and came back. So that's one thing about His Excellency. He would want you. He never likes. He doesn't like second or third position. He always wants you to come first.
It should be recalled that while recession ravaged the rest of Nigeria 2 years ago, the people of Anambra State were having the time of their lives. Governor Obiano's ingenious economic plan of suspending tax collection from low-income earners, regular payment of salaries, funding of the productive sector of the economy, and the 20 million naira community choose your project initiative ensured that Anambra families always had enough food on their tables. Indeed, Governor Obiano has continued to give incentives to motivate the workforce. This is in addition to the special incentives for spectacular performance in service, as well as for teachers of core science subjects, mathematics and Igbo, and for teachers in the hard-to-reach localities in the state. This necessitates commitment and competition amongst workers in the state. The tourism sector has equally felt Governor Obiano's dynamism in governance as the largely untapped potentials of major tourist spots in the state are being opened up for tourists. The interventions at Obaku Caves and waterfalls at Owerri Zukala and at the Obunike Cave provide good examples. Governor Willie Obiano's success in making and keeping Anambra State could therefore easily be noted as the pivot of his overall achievement in governance in the past 5 years. The now sustained tag of the safest state in Nigeria for an enclave whose past record of criminality struck horror in the minds of residents and visitors alike is indeed remarkable. This explains the honors he has attracted as the Sun Governor of the Year 2016, the best governor on security architecture in West Africa and Central Africa by an international organization operating from the Gambia, and the prestigious Zig Prize for Governance, among others. Beyond the tangible effects in the past 5 years of Obiano's reign in Anambra State, the underlying value of the governor's ethical revolution in deconstructing the self-perception of Ndi Anambra and indeed Ndi Igbo as victims of the Nigerian nation and his immeasurable success in reconditioning their psyche as proud citizens deserves a mention. Recall that in the first year of his administration, Chief Willie Obiano rolled out the drums to mourn the unsung heroes and heroines of Eastern Nigeria who died in the Biafran War. This singular expression of boldness, which no other government in the East had exercised, emboldened Ndi Igbo and restored their dignity in the Nigerian Federation. Governor Obiano's boldness in confronting issues related to the quest for a better Nigeria again came to the fore when, against all odds, he volunteered to host the Ohaneze Ndi Igbo Summit on restructuring of the Nigerian Federation, which took place at Ekweme Square in Awka in April 2018. The forum provided a common platform for the Southeast people to speak strongly in support of a restructured Nigeria.
Chief Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, the wife of the governor of Anambra State, comes across as someone with a soothing touch on the bruises of the vulnerable population of our society.
I get this sense of satisfaction and fulfillment when I help the needy. And this is something that I didn't just start today. It's something I've been into a better part of my life, because the Bible says that whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. And I believe in God, and I know that this world is a surgeon. So I want at the end of the day to go back home to my Creator, and that means making heaven.
Anambra women, young girls, indigent widows, people affected with mental illness, abandoned babies, mothers of triplets and quadruplets, people afflicted with terminal ailments, children with special needs, and several other categories of vulnerable people have all had many reasons to think kindly of Osodieme Aguleri. Osodieme is also largely seen as an Amazon by young girls that have benefited from her regular skill acquisition and empowerment programs. Most of these young women would have been floating around and falling prey to human traffickers and other enemies of society if Osodieme had not offered them a lifeline. Indeed, Osodieme has offered more than a lifeline to another segment of physically challenged people. These are our brothers and sisters who have suffered the loss of a limb. To this group of people, Osodieme has partnered some reputable organizations to provide prosthetic limbs and made it easier for them to regain a degree of self-confidence. He has also carried out several corrective surgeries for children with cleft palates and helped them avert a future riddled with self-loathing. And two things remind us of Osodieme's outstanding attempts to redefine the template of compassionate leadership. One of them is the building and donation of over a dozen houses to extremely poor widows who once lived in mud houses. Osodieme Aguleri is probably the only governor's wife in living memory who has built and donated houses to more than a dozen widows. Rehabilitation and healing of mentally challenged people picked from the streets of Anambra State is also one of the definitive initiatives of Osodieme. The intergenerational home has not only impacted many lives in the past 5 years, it has also added important chapters to the emerging narratives of the new Anambra State under Governor Willie Obiano. The home gave Nigeria an epic moment recently when 72-year-old Mrs. Rose Anene, who was presumed dead for 35 years, was reunited with her family. The reunion of Mrs. Anene with her family after 35 long years stirred emotions across the country and drew a huge attention to Osodieme Aguleri as the open conscience of leadership in Nigeria.
Over the course of 5 years, Governor Willie Obiano has firmly established himself in the imagination of his people as a visionary, fearless, and courageous leader who is not afraid to hold opinions that may not be popular so long as it will benefit his people in the long run. Governor Obiano's hands-on approach to leadership, which has seen Anambra State leapfrog to the front line of Nigeria's leading states, remains a model for students of leadership and everyone who wishes to know what it takes to turn the fortunes of a potentially great state around and transform a once dreaded enclave into a shining beacon of excellence. God bless Governor Willie Obiano, Abokwedike Aguleri. God bless Anambra State. God bless Nigeria.